Let's look at these problems again by doing adding the opposite in a shorthand version instead of using the absolute values. Now in this first example, we can see that we have 6 minus 3. We could rewrite that as 6 plus a negative 3. This is a special case here at 6 minus 3 because this is the larger number and minus a smaller number. So we can just subtract. So 6 minus 3 is equal to 3. But most of the time you have something like the rest of these problems. In that case, we want to do that changing the sign. We're going to change the sign and add. And make sure that you know that it takes 2 strokes. What in the world does she mean by 2 strokes? Here's what I mean. Negative 7 plus a negative 5. So plus, making that negative a positive or minus a plus is 1 stroke. And then making that 5 a negative 5 is the second stroke. Okay, so let me put that in red. Here's my first stroke, here's my second stroke. So now we have the same signs. So we just add and assign the sign. So negative 7 plus a negative 5 is equal to a negative 12. In the next case, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make our 2 strokes. So we start out with negative 2.4, and it was a minus, but our first stroke will be to make it a plus, and then it was a negative 1.2, but our second stroke will be to make that a positive 1.2, and then we can just now we can just subtract and say that's 2.4 minus 1.2 is 1.2, and then assign the sign of the larger, which is a negative. So we have a negative 1.2. Now some people might be confused because negative 2.4 is really smaller than negative 1.2. But remember that when we're subtracting here, we drop the signs and subtract. Okay? So our last example, we have 1/4, and it said minus, but we're going to make our first stroke be adding, and then it said it was 3/4 over here, but our second stroke will be to subtract. And so now again we want to drop the signs and subtract and assign the sign of larger. So it's really 3/4 minus 1/4 is equal to 2/4. 3 minus 1 is 2. And the sign is a negative because 3/4 is larger. In this case, we're assigning a negative. And then, of course, we have to reduce it, so it's a negative 1/2.